I would imagine that 99 times out of 100, when someone encounters you, hey, there's Coach Cut at the airport, there's Coach Cut at the restaurant, that person is super excited to meet you, and I know how accommodating you are. What would be your personal example of you being the one who's in awe or excited, and of course it had to actually come true for it to be a good story? Who was that one for you? And the rest of you guys need your wheels turned, the same question.
Well, the ladies would like this actually even better than I did. My first North Carolina Duke basketball game, Peyton, Eli, another first rounder that I had coached, Chris Spencer, E. Schuler, and then this guy named Matthew McConaughey had a knocker call and said he's coming to your office. Well, he wasn't excited to meet me at all. But I promise you, every lady within 200 miles that could get in my office was in my office. And then oddly, I'm kind of pushed back against the wall. Nobody has any idea who I am or that I'm even there. And then I realized next to me, here's Matthew McConaughey. And we start talking, and he puts a dip in, ladies, okay? And he says, you know, they really like these athletes, don't they? He was like me. They couldn't see anybody but the 6'5", 6'6" athletes. So I got 30 minutes with Matthew McConaughey one-on-one, and I was in awe. He's a smart guy. He's an interesting guy. And nobody ever came over there and said we looked a lot alike. I don't know why.
Let's go to the end of the table. Coach Houston, same question for you.
Well, just listening to you talk about this question, I was thinking just, about my experiences. And, I was 22 years old. I just finished playing and took a job coaching in a high school. And, that first spring, my head coach, he said, want to let you go visit a couple places and, have some experiences and, really just, learn from some guys. And so he set up a visit to go visit at a university where one of his good friends was the D-line coach there. And so his friend set that visit up, so went down, traveled down, got there, and watching the practice that day, and the head coach came over and introduced himself to me. And it was a thrill for me as a 22-year-old. I got to meet Mac Brown the first time he was in North Carolina. But, Coach, you had much darker hair back then. But, it was a thrill for me at that age, and Coach has been a great friend ever since.
Coach Dorn.
I'm also twice the man I was then, too.
When I was a graduate assistant coach at Southern Cal, we had a tradition night before games. Coach Hackett was our head coach, and he would show movies to the guys. And that week, his theme was about boxing. It was all the things that go into the sport of boxing with football, and would show guys different things. And he was building up this movie we're going to watch when we were kings about Muhammad Ali. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of a documentary of the Rumble in the Jungle. And so our team watched this movie, and they're doing these chants that they do in this movie, and they're excited. And the movie ends, the lights turn on, and Muhammad Ali standing in the front of the team room. It was a pretty incredible moment. And so he took a picture with every single player and had a fist like a hammer. I mean, the thing was gigantic. So I have a picture of me, 25 years old, standing next to the greatest of all time in the ring, in my opinion, Muhammad Ali. It's pretty special.
Wow.
Yeah.
Coach Brown?
Mine was John McKay, the legendary coach at USC, and they used to have bowl functions where you would go spend time with people, and he was at the Tampa Bay Bucks at the time. And I went to the, I think it was the Citrus Bowl function, might have been the Hall of Fame function or something, and I sat next to Coach McKay, and I was just in awe to know what he had done at USC and the players he had coached, and I just looked up to him so much. And then he knew we weren't very good in North Carolina, and he knew about our team, he knew about me, and he was so personable that that's one of the best nights of my life.
Coach Albert?
2019, I went to the Heisman ceremony up in New York, and my wife was tripping. And I'm like, why is she so giddy? And we look up, and it was Mark Harmon, and she's a huge Mark Harmon fan. I'm not a big TV guy, but we went over there and I introduced myself, and she asked if she could get a picture, and he was so humble, so personable, and we sat and talked for probably about 30 minutes, and I told him I had an issue with him. And he looked at me and said, "Why is that, Coach?" And I said, "I leave my wife on the couch every night while she watches you." So I had a little issue with him, but we got through it and had a good time. But I really felt as though my wife was cheating on me with Mark Harmon.
As we get to the next